Hey, City Group leaders, women's shepherd leaders, apprentices, all of you who are tuning in. Typically, these videos are used more for training purposes, but today I felt like we had a kind of a backlog of really important announcements that I wanted to make sure everybody was aware of. So I thought that a video would be the best way to do that. Hopefully, you'll be able to take just a couple minutes to watch these to watch this and catch up on these things that are going on. The first one is a few weeks ago, I encouraged you over the next 6 weeks or so to get your group out of the living room. Um, as the weather warms up and more opportunities are presented to kind of connect with neighbors and see the needs in the neighborhood, I hope that you guys are being faithful to encourage your groups to do that, to be prayerful about that. Another thing that's kind of ran alongside of that, at least for my group, was from the sermon a couple of weeks ago, exploring the question, how much blessing is there in $100? My group really wanted to explore that, and they've taken it to the next step, and we're considering working with one of the more seedy hotels in our neighborhood to try and serve some of the population there. Just an idea that I would have never come up with on my own, but that the group seemed to get behind, that someone in our group was really passionate about. So just remembering that we want to be faithful to mission as a city group, knowing that sometimes we just don't know where to begin, always wanting to encourage you guys to begin with prayer, and then just find a way to get out, even if that means prayer walking your neighborhood. We really want to place a priority on that, so don't forget about that. Another thing not to forget about is if you have people who are potentially apprentices, now is the time to get them in the queue. I'll announce in just a second here that we have some training coming up, and that's always a good time to get people involved. Something I want to kind of give you guys a little bit of a picture of what's going to happen in the next few weeks. We're going to have some standalone sermons through Easter, and we're doing elder installation this coming Sunday. But our next series is going to be in the book of Galatians. Galatians is going to be a significantly different style of book and preaching from what we have been encountering in the book of James. And it'll probably be a good time for us to begin refreshing ourselves with the basic Christian doctrines book. So if you want to go ahead and kind of be looking at things like justification and law and salvation, those are topics that are going to come up in the book of James, or excuse me, in the book of Galatians. And if you don't have a copy of Basic Christian Doctrines by Wayne and Elliot Grudem, then let me know and I'll make sure that you get a copy of that book. We have plenty left here at the office. The next thing is that many of you I have been asking to help me write questions for the weekly each week, and just amazed at the gifting that God has given many of you to be critical thinkers and to ask questions and to just be really attentive to the sermon and really ask probing questions of the heart for our city groups to discuss through the week. Thank you all for serving in that area, and I just want to encourage you, even if I don't ask you each week, always feel free, if a question comes to mind, to write that down. In the coming weeks and months, I'm going to be working on kind of a systematic way of thinking about writing questions, so that many of you can begin to do that each week on your own for all the groups. I couldn't be more convinced that many of you have better questions to ask than I do. That you guys can do a great job at this, and that we want to get more people involved in serving in that way. So there are two events that I want to make you aware of that are coming up in the next month. The first one is, we had talked about doing a women's huddle. I had sent a survey out about 8 weeks ago, and now that the Foundations in Womanhood is complete, I think that now would be a good time to do that. So on April the 18th, that's going to be a Wednesday night. That was the top vote getter for when to do this. We will be having a women's huddle, a time for women to fellowship and connect with each other. There'll be more details to come. There'll be an event posted on the city, so stay tuned for that. And if you're a women's shepherd leader and you would like to have a special role in what goes on that night, if you have something, a topic you'd like to bring up, or something that you would like to hear about, then just send me a message and we'll make sure that happens. The other thing I want to make you aware of is on the 22nd of April, which is a Sunday afternoon. That's when we'll have our spring training. We're going to focus on our value of prayer. So just kind of throwing that out there, circle that on the calendar, make sure you're free. And that's what we want to, that's kind of our deadline for having potential apprentices invited to, so that we can get them in the mix there. So anyway, hopefully things are going great. Thanks for giving me a few minutes just to catch you up on some things. With everything going on, we've kind of had to put the shift on with India and preaching and all those things. So these are all things that I've wanted to tell you guys for a couple weeks now, and I'm just now getting the chance to. So as always, praying for you guys. If you need anything, please send me a message and let me know. And have a good group this week. We'll see you soon.